and this is a retro pickup video, I guess you could say, of a few games I've picked up over the last couple of months. Given the current situation with everything, gaming has become much more of a viable hobby, especially at the moment. So I just thought I'd go through a couple of bits and bobs that I've actually picked up. Starting with the Metal Gear Solid Legacy Collection. This was £28 on eBay. It's got every Metal Gear Solid game, all the way from the original VR mission. Well, saying that, it doesn't actually have VR missions and the original in it because it's a code, and this is the USA version, NTSC version of the game, so it's not actually. The codes aren't valid for the UK PSN, so sadly I can't use that one, unfortunately, unless I use a VPN, and then possibly I could probably get the codes for the off the US PSN. But given this came out in 2013, I should imagine the codes have probably expired by now, so I will probably leave that as it is and just pick up a physical copy of the PS1 game at some point. But to be honest with you, I've also picked up another Metal Gear game anyway, so I'd still like the original in my collection at some point. So 28 quid, not bad. Maybe a little bit overpriced, but you know, it's the full collection. So, and saying that, I managed to pick up a new DualShock 3 controller off eBay. £13, I think it was. Because my other ones had it completely. It's just I've dropped it so many times. When you try and navigate on the UI on the PS3 menu, it just doesn't work. Everything, it just goes where it wants. It shuts the system down when it pleases. So very light. I think it's the legit thing. It looks legit. It's got all the legit things on it as far as I can tell. But it does rattle. So but when you compare it to the PS4 or the PS5, for what it's worth, you can see what I mean. It looks like, now I don't have anything personally against Fisher Price toys, but it looks proper cheap, even compared to the PS4 part. So yeah, yep, and that is a PS5, the second most powerful paperweight in history. Until some games actually come out for it. And on that note, Horizon Zero Dawn has apparently been delayed till next year, so great. Anyway, on to the next game I managed to pick up, which was Metal Gear on the brain. Super Mario Sunshine. I know this came out on the collectors, and you would think this would be quite expensive, but nope, this was 20 quid. I've never played it as of yet. It's all in good condition. It's got all the, I think there's any, yeah, there's no, it's in good nick. I said 20 quid's not that bad. Manuals there. There's another thing in there as well, the little GameCube the part that came with it, I guess, but it's all in good condition. 20 quid's a steal. As you can see, the discs in pretty good condition, really. Again, another eBay buy. Yeah, so looking forward to trying that. I've heard it's not the most well liked of the Mario games. I've yet to play Odyssey, but Mario 64 is still probably my favourite. And that game's classed as quite overrated by a lot of people, apparently. Yeah, so that. And the creme of the creme, this one. So Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes. This game I cleared last night on Twitch. It's how can I put it? This is the better version of Metal Gear in terms of like the gameplay, because it runs on the Metal Gear Solid 2 engine. That Sons of Liberty and I believe Snake Eater used to run on. As you can see, it's all in good condition. Manuals are there. The even that is there. Discs are pretty good, Nick. This wasn't cheap though. This is one of those games that's expensive. This was £55, I think, which is a considerable amount of money for a retro. And the other discs in my GameCube still. Yeah, so this is a better game than the PS1 version, but the PS1 version I've played so many times. It's a more memorable game. The music in the original game, the PS1 version, is just better. There's just something about it. But this game is very sort of, it's got a lot of Matrix sort of scenes to it, where Snake's doing flips and jumps and dodging bullets and stuff, and it's the same game essentially, just with updated visuals. There's some minor differences, I think, with some of the voice acting. Like Mei Ling doesn't seem to have an accent in this version of the game as much. But these are minor things. This is the easier game by far. The torture scene in Metal Gear Solid is infamous with a lot of people for destroying your finger and the circle button on the PlayStation version. This was easy as oat on this version. I didn't really have any problem with any of the bosses. I mean, Metal Gear Solid is not particularly the most difficult game, but the AI with the soldiers hiding from them and running around them and knocking them over and however you play, stealthily or just by killing them, it's got some more challenging. The sections are all the same, but it's more challenging in a lot of ways. So, but is it worth £55? I'm not sure on that one, to be honest with you, given what I paid for it. It's a rarish game now, and it's getting up there in price. You know, there's a few other GameCube titles that are even higher, like Animal Crossing's once, I think I saw for £84. Paper Mario, that's another one. So it depends, but if you've got the original PS1 version, I don't think you're missing out on much with this version, to be honest. Essentially, it's the same game. It just looks better. But as I said, the music, I think the music on the original game is more iconic, to be honest. But I'll leave that with you. Anyway, and the last thing I did actually pick up was a couple of months, how long ago was it now? It was, let's have a look. Scrolling through my channel, trying to actually find when 5 months ago, I bought, I'm going to just point on the YouTube channel, the Keiso GameCube HDMI adapter, and I compared it to a generic adapter, which was a what was it called? I can't find it. It was a generic 3-pin to HDMI, and it looked terrible. It looked really, really bad. So I picked this up. Now the story goes is that particular device stopped working after about 5 months of use. It just stopped working altogether, and my GameCube's down there, as you can see, it's a bit of a mess at the moment, but I've got a HDMI lead there, but I balanced it on that because the last one broke, and I think it was because of the weight of the HDMI lead. So this was cheap. This was 67, and the first device was 69. Excellent device. I've got no complaint. Well, I've got one complaint. The remote is terrible. In fact, the remote doesn't even work. So I've got to contact them at some point and sort that out. The remote doesn't work, period. I can't access any of the features, the scan lines or any of that kind of stuff on there. So it is cheaply made. I mean, you can get on Amazon, you can get the HDC, I can't remember what it's called now. There's a more expensive one that plugs into both the component and the AVI out. AV on the GameCube out. It plugs into both, and it's essentially the same thing that this does, but it's just a lot more expensive. It's like 120 quid, I think, last time I checked. But this one you can update with the USB-C data port, so there is that. So that's kind of cool. As I said, cleared Metal Gear Solid on at Twin Snakes last night with it. So far, I would recommend this, even the other one, but don't use a heavy HDMI lead. Use a normal light HDMI lead, because the heavy ones, it seems to break the device. Well, from my experience, and I haven't dropped it or anything. That's just my experience with it. So just be aware of that. And yeah, that was just pretty much just a quick update video on the stuff I'll be doing on the channel. I will be streaming Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty, because I managed to get my PS3 up and running, and I got a HDMI splitter, so I can actually record the content now without that HDCP on the PS3. Is an absolute pain in the ass to bypass.